As we celebrate the end of Black History Month, Johnny Condon mentioned to me that the musical instrument that he plays, that he's so passionate about, the washboards, has an interesting connection with Black history. And John, let's talk about that.
The washboard wasn't supposed to be an instrument of music. It was an instrument for toil. The American slave would have to wash clothes and wash fabrics. And at the same time, they weren't being educated or allowed to have any type of fun. And this was something that they were able to, an instrument of toil and for hard work was during the small chances that they'd have to have off time where they would make music and praise God. And the washboard became a musical instrument that's very prevalent in the New Orleans scene. I was just talking to a fellow downstairs, talked about the first time he ever saw a washboard was in Memphis. That was the first time I ever saw a washboard. And I was on a trip called the Barbecue Highway trip all the way down to New Orleans and ends up at Jazz Fest. Washboards get a lot more prevalent, but to just find out, and to actually find out when some people come up and ask me, they say, do you know you're playing a washboard? Do you know how the washboard became a musical instrument? Without trying to be too much of a know-it-all. I do, but I'll let them educate me a little bit more on it too. Someone's always got something new to tell me about how the washboard became a musical instrument. And of course, you've seen me play this.
Oh,
I mean, I play it like it's a piano.
Yeah. Let's give it up for Johnny Condon. We appreciate his time because he's got a lot of work to do tonight.
All right.
All right. Chris Campbell, here's the $9 million question. They started off good, but has age crept up on the Knicks, and are they simply too old to make a run? Chris Campbell and the Crestwood Auto Group Sports Report.
Thanks, Howie. Good evening, everybody. Well, speaking of the Knicks right now, they are at home facing the 76ers at the Garden with about little over 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Knicks are leading 41-26. We did have discussions during the break about the current age of the team and whether or not they're looking a little bit old. And obviously, with their recent state of play, they are in fact looking like an older team. Jason Kidd looks like a shell of what he was in the beginning of the season. The reality is that there needs to be a little bit more of a rotation with the players. They need to work themselves in and out of the lineup. The signing of Kenyon Martin this week is huge for this team because he's going to bring a lot of heart and a lot of energy while Rasheed Wallace and Marcus Camby are on the mend. Coming out of the All-Star break, a very lackluster All-Star break, which we had gone over last weekend in the Sports Report, there were a lot of teams that really started off the second half very, very slow, and it looked like the so-called quote-unquote professionals really didn't take their job seriously, as there were a lot of lopsided scores, not just when the Knicks opened up the second half versus the Pacers getting throttled by them by 30 points. There were a lot of lopsided first games back from the All-Star break, so I'm not looking too deep into it. The next game they played against Toronto, even though it was a loss, they did show significantly more effort in that game. So this team definitely is not going to go down without a fight. Mike Woodson has them playing extremely hard, and this will be a team to watch going down the stretch. My buddy Dwayne Brown from D Brown Limousines is actually at the game. Hope you're enjoying it if you're listening in. For the other local team, we have the Nets in Brooklyn tonight, facing off against the Grizzlies. As of right now, it looks like they are about 5 minutes to go in the half. That's a little bit of a closer game. Grizzlies are up by 29-28. And it looks like Deron Williams is having himself a decent game with 10 points so far. As we know, today was the Super Bowl for NASCAR. The Daytona 500 went off without a hitch today. Jimmy Johnson kept Dale Earnhardt Jr. at bay in the home stretch to win this year's race. This one being JJ's second in his career. Notably, Danica Patrick, who made history as the first woman to start the race in the lead position, she finished 8th, and she had an incident-free race, which is always good. There were a few crashes during the race, but nothing even close to what happened yesterday with the spectators being hurt in that Tier 2 level race. That was just a shame, and we're hoping everybody gets better and the injuries weren't too serious. Moving on to the ice, 2 of the 3 locals are in action tonight as the Islanders are hosting the Hurricanes at the Coliseum. As of right now, We have the end of the first period with the Islanders up 2-1, and the Devils just a short while ago dropped a 4-2 loss to the Winnipeg Jets at the Prudential Center in Newark. And finally, on to the diamond. Both local teams saw action today as the Yankees dropped a 2-0 loss to the Blue Jays. One note from that game, Curtis Granderson was hit in his first at-bat in spring training, broke his forearm, and will be out until the first week of May at the earliest. The Mets actually had 2 games today. First game being they played the University of Michigan and won 5-2. And in the other game, they actually managed a 7-7 tie after jumping out to a 6-1 lead over the Astros. All the major pitchers, Jonathan Neese, Dylan G, Matt Harvey saw action today. Everyone seemed to pitch pretty well. And again, just a tough loss for the Yankees as Curtis Granderson goes down. I guess that solves the who plays center field, who plays left field position for at least the time being. Anyway, that's it in sports this week. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day, and we will talk to you next week.
Great job as usual, Chris. And the number for Crestwood Auto Group is?
We can be reached at area code 914-620-2112 or on the web at www.crestwoodautobrokers.com. And you can search for us on Facebook, either through the Halftime Howie page or get us directly at Crestwood Auto Brokers, LLC. Back to you, Howie.
Okay, everyone in Long Beach, we're coming back to Long Beach next Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We'll be at the legendary Aurora Luncheonette, 7 o'clock next week, back in Long Beach. All right, we're going to wrap with this. Thanks to all our great guests, and let me wrap with this. My name is Halftime. I want to thank you for your time. Please join us next Sunday night for an edition of Halftime. But at this time, we are out of time. See you next Sunday!